Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News on LA56.
A family demanding answers following the alleged beating of a mentally challenged man at the hands of sheriff's deputies. Our Leah Stalwart speaks exclusively with the victim.
U.S. Marines and Special Forces now on the ground in northern Iraq, but their mission is not humanitarian. It's to help stranded and threatened refugees.
A local school district under fire. Parents say children in the special ed program were forced to dig through trash.
She said, "You had the special ed kids going through the trash?" She said, "Yes, that's how we get our cans and we get our bottles." I wanted to throw up.
Good evening, I'm Colleen Sullivan.
I'm Mark Brown in for David Ono. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. Tonight a family is outraged. Loved ones say a Compton man was beaten by LA County Sheriff's deputies. They say he has the mental capacity of a child. They want to know why it happened. Eyewitness News reporter Leah Stalwart spoke to the man. He has the exclusive interview.
I got pains and aches in my ribs and like in my face, by my eyes and my head. I've been having a headache lately.
29-year-old Barry Montgomery Jr. says he suffered the injuries during a heated confrontation with LA County Sheriff deputies July 14th at Enterprise Park near Compton. Barry says 1 minute the deputies were talking to him about leaving the park because it was near 10 p.m., which is closing time. He says moments later they were punching him. Barry's attorney gave us this video that was shot by witnesses. Denise Montgomery says her son is mentally challenged and could not understand the commands the deputies were telling him, so they beat him.
And he takes a lot of medicine for his mental state. He's schizophrenic and he has Tourette syndrome also. Everybody watch out for him. But I never expected for the police, the sheriff, to be the one to beat him like this.
We talked to the LA County Sheriff's Department, who is investigating the incident.
The suspect became verbally confrontational and attempted to punch one of the deputies. The deputies struggled with the suspect and took him into custody.
Barry was charged with resisting arrest. His attorney says he plans to sue the Sheriff's Department for use of excessive force and is demanding the charges be dropped against Barry.
You could knock Barry over with a feather. Barry's 105 pounds, dripping wet. He's just over about 5'3". I mean, Barry's a little guy. I see an outrageously horrible, inhumane situation.
Barry's family says there's no way he could have been a threat to police because they say he has the mental capacity of no more than a 6 or 10-year-old child.
Everybody in this neighborhood takes care of Barry. They watch over him. He doesn't hurt anybody. In reverse, and he's seen somebody attacking a child, he would run in there and help.
It's disgraceful. It's totally disgraceful.
Because you say he's that harmless.
He's that harmless. He's like a lamb. He's like a lamb. How do you beat a guy like that, man?
Barry is due to be arraigned on the resisting arrest charge next month in Compton. Leo Stalwart, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A pregnant woman shot several times while sitting in a car in South El Monte has successfully given birth to her child. Investigators say the victim was 7 months pregnant. Her baby is now in fair condition. The mother is said to be in critical condition. Neighbors say they believe the victim may have been targeted.
It can't be drive-by shooting, you know. It's not in this neighborhood. They don't have drugs or whatever going on in this neighborhood. So it's got to be somebody who they might know each other or something, you know, because they don't just come up here and shoot anybody. You know, they come up here and shoot this lady, and she's pregnant.
According to detectives, the suspect or suspects fled in a dark-colored sedan, possibly a Nissan Maxima. A shooting in Santa Ana leaves a man dead and 2 women wounded. Police are hoping surveillance video from a nearby business might help lead to a suspect. The man killed 23-year-old Aaron Chavez. He and the 2 women were sitting in a car when it was shot up last night. The female victims are in critical condition. Investigators suspect information they say is very sketchy, but they believe the shooter was a man who then left in a white SUV.
Now to a major development in the humanitarian crisis in northern Iraq. U.S. forces are now on the ground there. Some have been on top of the mountain where refugees have been stranded without food and water. Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson looks at what's next in the U.S. operation.
Today, U.S. Special Forces were on the ground at Sinjar Mountain for 24 hours assessing potential rescue options for the Yazidis. Thousands of people from the ethnic minority group continue to be stuck on that mountain without food or water. One idea to help them? Send in helicopters for aerial rescues. Another? Create a land passageway so the Yazidis can walk off the mountain.
We're not putting ground forces into combat role in Iraq. We're using U.S. military personnel to assess what the best way is to bring people to safety.
The U.S. has performed at least 6 supply drops from the air. In 5 days, the military has delivered nearly 100,000 meals and more than 27,000 gallons of water.
We don't believe it's sustainable to just have permanent airdrops to this population on the mountain.
So far, the focus of the U.S. operation has been in the air. But any of the Yazidi rescue options being seriously considered would require some troops on the ground, at least temporarily, in enemy territory.
Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel said after seeing the intelligence from the special forces, the situation is not as bad as first thought. There are actually fewer Yazidis on the mountain than first thought, and they're in better condition than first thought. So it is a lot less likely that the U.S. will go in with a rescue mission. Reporting from the newsroom, Alex Michelson, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Israel and Hamas have agreed to extend a temporary truce even as more rockets are fired. Negotiators have agreed to extend a ceasefire by 5 more days. However, even as the agreement was announced, violence spiked, with Palestinian militants firing 5 rockets at Israel and Israel targeting sites across Gaza. Earlier today, a journalist for the Associated Press and 4 others were killed when an unexploded missile blew up. The blast happened as Gaza engineers were trying to neutralize the device. He is the first journalist killed in the Gaza conflict.
The second day of school and already a scare on a campus in Silver Lake. There was a report of 2 suspicious men, possibly armed, walking on school grounds at Alejandro Elementary. The school went into lockdown. Police rushed to the scene and started searching. Nothing suspicious was found and the lockdown was lifted. Police say the initial call came from a prepaid cell phone. Officers called out that number but did not get an answer. And tonight, angry parents in Jurupa Valley want to know why only the special ed students were asked to dig through trash to raise money. It happened at Patriot High School. Our Inland Empire Bureau Chief Rob McMillan has details and reaction.
Can you please tell me why only the special ed kids are digging in the trash? Why aren't the cheerleaders and the football players?
Carmen Wells says her son Marcus, who has autism, was excited about his first day at Patriot High School in Jurupa Valley, but she grew concerned when he came home, looking agitated and upset.
We know our Marcus, and what's going on with you? What happened? So he explained that he was in the trash cans.
Confused, she says she called his teacher for an explanation.
And she says, oh, this is our recycling program so that we can fund our field trips or to purchase food for cooking in the functional skills program. I said, you had the special ed kids going through the trash? She says, yes, that's how we get our cans and we get our bottles. I wanted to throw up.
The school district says it's part of the functional skills program where students learn about recycling, financing, and eventually go on a field trip to a grocery store. But in response to the concern, the district says, quote, the school temporarily suspended the activity in order to review the current process and consider changes.
He wants to fit in. He wants to beat autism. So when he's told to do something, he's going to do it because he wants to participate. How dare you subject them to feeling embarrassed and shamed? And how dare you subject and let them dig in a trash can that there's too much at stake that can happen to their safety.
And even though the school district says this program has been going on for several years now, for the time being, it's been suspended. In Jurupa Valley, Rob McMillan, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Robin Williams' daughter Zelda is stepping away from social media after receiving what she calls cruel and unnecessary messages following her father's suicide. 25-year-old Zelda Williams wrote that she's leaving Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram, possibly forever. The accounts of both alleged bullies have since been suspended. Meanwhile, sheriff's officials are defending their decision to release details about how Williams died. They say state law requires that they be disclosed to the public. Actress Patty Duke is demanding action in the wake of Robin Williams' suicide. Like Williams, she's an Oscar winner, and like Williams, she has struggled with mental health problems. Duke was diagnosed as bipolar in 1982.
I am also going to enlist every citizen I can to reach out to their representative in Congress and say, we're not kidding anymore.
Duke says she hopes to use her influence to increase funding for more psychiatrists, research, and an end to the stigma of mental illness. She says medication brought her stability and peace, something she wished had worked for Robin Williams.
A messy scene in El Monte today where a tree toppled over onto a home. Take a look. This is on the 3600 block of Penmar Avenue. It appears the tree split in half, taking out a fence and landing on the roof of that home. Officials say fortunately no one was home at the time of the accident and nobody was injured. A power line was also taken out by the tree. No word on the extent of the damage to the home or how long it will take to remove that tree.
All right, Jonathan Novak is here now. Going to take a first look at our weather in the 8 o'clock hour. Jonathan?
Yeah, Mark Colleen, a beautiful day today weather-wise. We had the showers the last couple of days over the mountain areas, but today the live megadoppler 7000 HD getting a little bit of a break. Saw a few showers try to form, a couple of storms trying to get underway by Big Bear earlier today, but it just did not happen. All that moisture getting shunted to the east, at least for this afternoon. So live shot at LAX. Looks like a few clouds there, but clear inland as we head to Burbank, 71 degrees, and I'll wake you up tomorrow morning, give you a 65 in downtown Los Angeles. Get you up to 80 by noon. It's a little below average. Another day with temperatures unseasonably cool, but we're warming up in the forecast. Some triple digits in there somewhere. Got details on that and any rain chances coming up in a few.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Yep. New at 8 tonight, Pope Francis has arrived in South Korea, marking the first papal visit to the nation in 25 years. Francis was greeted on the red carpet by President Park Geun-hye. The Pope's 5-day visit will include the beatification of 124 Korean martyrs. And just an hour before the Pope's arrival, North Korea fired 3 short-range projectiles into the sea.
Just days after Hillary Clinton criticized aspects of the Obama administration's foreign policy, the former Secretary of State says she is looking forward to hugging it out with the president.
We agree. We are committed to the values and the interests and the security of our country together. We have disagreements, as any partners and friends, as we might very well have. But I'm proud that I served with him and for him, and I'm looking forward to seeing him tonight.
Clinton made the comments before signing copies of her book on Martha's Vineyard. The president is also on the island vacationing with his family. He will meet his ex-Secretary of State tonight when they attend the same private party.
Up next, a surprising auction involving the wrongful death judgment against O.J. Simpson.
Plus, will the family that steals together go to jail together? The shoplifting scheme caught on video. Plus this.
Windows smashed, a door kicked in, a girl and grandmother arrested, all over an internet posting. Are the cops out of control?
The well-known actor chosen to play John Wayne in the new movie. I'm George Pinocchio. That's in tonight's Hollywood Wrap. Plus, Celine Dion puts her career on hold. Why she won't be performing anytime soon. Next.
Eye-opening video of a SWAT team raid in Evansville, Indiana. The team breaks through the front of the house with flashbang grenades and handcuffing an 18-year-old girl and her 68-year-old grandmother at gunpoint. It turns out the man police were looking for lived in another neighborhood home. Now, the woman who lives in the home has filed a lawsuit against the city for excessive force. However, the city is asking a judge to rule that police did nothing wrong because they had a search warrant for that address. Phoenix police say they've never seen anything like it. A family of shoplifters police have dubbed the family affair. Authorities say this is Terry Vargas stuffing stolen goods into her bag. Her alleged accomplice is her brother Mario. A security guard hurries after them. Police say Mario blasts him with pepper spray. They got away, but 2 months later, police arrested Mom Elizabeth, her 2 daughters, son, and son-in-law.
The mother of murder victim Ron Goldman says she's had enough. She's selling her right to the $9 million wrongful death judgment against O.J. Simpson. It's been 17 years since a jury ordered Simpson to pay more than $33 million in damages. The share for Goldman's mother, Sharon Rufo, was $9 million, and apparently she's through waiting for it. She has put it up for sale on the website judgmentmarketplace.com. Bids will be accepted for 30 days, or someone could buy it immediately for $1 million. That person would then have to try to collect from Simpson, who is currently in prison. Flooding because of heavy rain has led one county in New York State to declare itself a disaster area. Streets in Suffolk County turned into rivers after more than 10 inches of rain fell over a 2-hour period. The rain fell so hard and fast that a lot of people didn't have time to move their cars to higher ground. Others were forced to abandon them altogether just to get to safety. A number of roads were closed. Some homeowners had to deal with flooded basements.
And we're not dealing with really much humidity anymore either.
Good call. Very nice. Good observation. We'll look actually a little bit later in the next forecast at the satellite and radar on the East Coast because, man, they got hammered with a big storm. Locally, all the shower activity, all that moisture, Colleen, good observation, has been pushed to the east, and along with it, all that rain that we had the last couple of days in the mountain areas. Check this out, guys. So storms need organization, right? They got to have things together. The atmosphere's got to cooperate for a storm to get going and keep going over the time. And so as you look at the running springs time lapse from earlier today, you see this one storm that tried to get its act together, but then dry air, entrained into the atmosphere, into the storm, and basically just sheared it apart. And that is going to be the case as we go through the next few days. Just too much dry air in the atmosphere for anything to really spark up on that live mega Doppler 7000 HD. And this is actually a little bit earlier on, about 6 hours ago. You see that shower, that little storm that tried to get going. That's it right there, showing up, picking it up. Off to the east of us around Vegas, they had a lot of lightning the last few days, but even they're catching a break. And it looks like this is the pattern we'll be in for a little while until things really start heating up. Temperatures are going to get hot, triple digits, later in the forecast, but we'll get to that. Tonight, Long Beach, 70 degrees, beautiful evening. It is clear for the moment, but we're going to have those marine layer clouds move back in tonight, overnight, and tomorrow morning. You'll start up again with the morning low clouds. 70 again in Long Beach, but 68 Santa Monica, 65 in Oxnard. A nice mild evening around the area, 82 up in the valley areas. This is a 24-hour temperature change map. I just want to give you a snapshot just to show you that it's very similar right now to where we were last night, minus the moisture. The temperatures are within a degree or two, that's what that's indicating, of this time last night. So a very nice evening ahead. If you liked last night, take out the humidity, it's even better. Why? Well, we have low pressure that's still drifting to the east up north of us, and off to the west, another area of low pressure developing. Winds around low pressure go counterclockwise, so that gives us this southwest flow. If you look off to the right of your screen, high pressure is way off to the east of us, and in between is sandwiched that monsoonal moisture. So it's going to stay that way, stuck off to the east of us over the next few days. That pattern's going to persist, so it's going to stay dry. All right? Temperatures are going to stay nice and warm, right around average. Coastal clouds late. Looks like beach areas should start off around 66 and top out in the mid-70s tomorrow, with Santa Clarita looking at a high of 95, low 90s in the IE. 7-day forecast. So a few days of this, all right? 82 and then back up to 84, right around average through the weekend, really. Things start heating up next week. This is high pressure back in play, folks. And the Valley's IE, you're going to get really toasty come Tuesday and Wednesday next week, 96, 97. It appears while that high pressure might bring a little bit of that monsoonal moisture back, it's not enough. And it's not enough instability with it to bring the shower chance in the mountains. So maybe a few extra clouds here. That's the worst of it, with temperatures getting back up to around 80 in the mountains. The high desert, triple digits in the forecast starting on Sunday. and it looking hot for the rest of that forecast for you as well. We'll have another look coming up in a few minutes. Back to the desk.
Okay, Jonathan, thank you. In tonight's Hollywood Wrap, Celine Dion takes a break from performing.
Plus tributes to Lauren Bacall and Robin Williams. Here's George Pinocchio with the details.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll start tonight with a special tribute, a Broadway tribute to the late Robin Williams. This evening, Broadway theaters dim their marquee lights for 1 minute. Williams had been on Broadway several times, most recently in 2011 for Bengal Tiger at the Baghdad Zoo. The cast of Aladdin is also honoring the comedian and actor. Williams, of course, was the voice of the genie in the 1992 animated film. We'll have more on that on ABC7 at 11 o'clock. And it's Lauren Bacall who is remembered today on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Flowers were placed on her star near Hollywood and Vine. The 89-year-old actress died yesterday. The star of more than 40 films is being remembered by those who worked with her, including someone from her last project. She lent her legendary voice to Family Guy. Creator Seth MacFarlane says, Lauren Bacall's life is a life to be celebrated. Thank you, Lauren, for teaching us all how to whistle. Celine Dion says she's putting her career on hold. Until further notice, she's postponed or canceled all of her show business commitments. Celine says she needs to focus 100% of her attention on the health of her husband Renee, her own health, and taking care of her family. Celine's publicist says since Renee had a cancerous tumor removed last December, it's been stressful and difficult dealing with the challenges fighting it. Plus, Celine's dealing with her own illness. Her throat muscles are inflamed to the point where she is unable to perform. She plans to spend every ounce of her energy to her husband and her 3 kids. Celine's publicist told me this afternoon that everyone is remaining positive through all of this. Former Jag star David James Elliott is stepping into John Wayne's shoes. Make that his cowboy boots. The Hollywood Reporter says he signed to play the Duke in the big screen film Trumbo. Now, Bryan Cranston is starring as the screenwriter Dalton Trumbo, who was blacklisted during the McCarthy era. The film from director Jay Roach also features Helen Mirren as gossip columnist Hedda Hopper. Shooting begins next month. And it started as a Japanese children's show. It then became a cheesy kids TV series here in the 90s, then a movie, and then a phenomenon. Now the Power Rangers are back and headed to the big screen again. A newly envisioned group of Rangers will go to theaters in July of 2016. That is tonight's Hollywood Wrap. Is your child into the Power Rangers?
Not yet. He's still a little young.
Okay.
He's 3, so give it time, though.
All
I'm
right.
sure he will.
Okay.
All right, George, thank you. Still to come, singer Chris Brown facing a judge in L.A. Up next, what the R&B bad boy's been doing to stay out of jail.
And new video catching a woman getting workman's comp benefits for an injury while competing in a beauty pageant. Stay with us. An LA judge is singing a new tune about R&B star Chris Brown. The Grammy winner's been in and out of trouble since the 2009 beating of then-girlfriend Rihanna, but he's just received a glowing probation report. The judge agreed to reduce the number of drug screenings Brown must undergo and congratulated him for cooperating with his probation officer and his therapist.
A Texas teenager is back home safe with his family after being found living inside a Walmart for 4 days. The 14-year-old was discovered by employees at this Corsicana Walmart. He had built 2 secret compounds so he could hide. One was behind boxes of strollers, the other behind stacks of paper towels and toilet paper. He survived by stealing food off the shelves and eating it. It was this trail of trash that led Walmart workers to his hiding place. Customers cannot believe it.
You would never expect that you're at Walmart, there's someone living there and has been living there for 4 days. That's crazy.
Wondering what his parents think and how come he didn't come home, or why aren't they worried about him?
Turns out the boy was a runaway. He took clothes from the rack, changing his outfit every few hours and even using diapers instead of the bathroom to avoid being found. No word yet if Walmart plans to file any charges.
Updating tonight's top stories next at 8:30.
Including on the ground in northern Iraq, see how ill-prepared Kurdish troops are preparing for combat with ISIS forces.
And caught on video, brazen robbers steal thousands of dollars worth of hair extensions. Coming up.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News on LA56.
Our top story making headlines at 8:30. The family of a Compton man who has the mental capacity of a child says he was beaten by LA County Sheriff's deputies. This is Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. I'm Mark Brown in for David Ono.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. 29-year-old Barry Montgomery Jr. says he suffered the injuries during a heated confrontation with LA County Sheriff's deputies in July at Enterprise Park near Compton. He spoke exclusively to Eyewitness News.
I got pains and aches in my ribs and like in my face, by my eyes and my head. I've been having a headache lately.
His mother says her son is mentally challenged and could not understand the commands the deputies were telling him, so they beat him. The LA County Sheriff's Department says Montgomery became verbally confrontational and attempted to punch one of the deputies. He was charged with resisting arrest.
We have breaking news, breaking news to tell you about here. This is South Los Angeles. We are hearing a report of a shooting here. The call came in about 8 o'clock, 8:09 to be exact. The park is at 53rd and Compton in South LA. Right near the baseball diamond is where the shooting reportedly took place. We hear of one person who has been wounded in that. Not any, no more information really readily available at this point on what has happened here, but one person has been wounded in a shooting. You see a pretty significant response by the LAPD. The victim apparently has been removed already. It looks like the ambulance has already left the scene. Other news now, terrifying armed robbery caught on surveillance video. A man got buzzed into a hair shop, then duct taped the clerk while two other suspects stole human hair extensions and cash. Eyewitness News reporter Miriam Hernandez has the video police want you to see.
Empty racks, a store wiped out. What had been here, merchandise that is a growing target for thieves. Human hair imported from India, a vanity product so coveted, merchants tell us it is being stolen and resold on the streets. The latest victim does not want to be identified after a gunman and two accomplices stormed Baby Doll store in Hawthorne and bound a clerk.
He told her initially to duct tape her mouth shut, and then he proceeded to just continue with the process. He duct taped her mouth, he duct taped her eyes, he bound her arms and her feet.
This store and others are secured like jewelry stores. Cameras, doors locked. Customers have to be buzzed in. Typically, men are not allowed, but this one came with a young woman who wore braided extensions. Investigators at Hawthorne PD say this was not a casual robbery.
The main thing is they had a plan. They went in, they came prepared, they came with the duct tape so that they could tie the victim up, and they were prepared to take the merchandise and flee, and were trying to be aware of the cameras and not to show their identity.
The tresses cost from $70 to $200. They are brokered in India, where women give them to temples for free as an offering. Here, the hair is part of a growing black market.
Basically, you're taking an average person and you're turning them into a celebrity look-alike by adding these extensions onto them. So people want them.
Across the USA, look at what thieves are doing to steal it. In Virginia, a mother uses her baby in a stroller as a shield to aid in a heist. In Atlanta, they smashed through a glass door with a rock. Another gang uses U-Haul to crash through security and grab $7,500 worth of human hair. Desperate measures. And so today, Hawthorne police say watch out for this team of three, all in their mid-20s.
Be aware, if you have that funny feeling or you become suspicious, call the police or don't let them in.
Anyone with information is asked to contact Hawthorne detectives at 310-349-2835. Reporting from Hawthorne, Miriam Hernandez, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A big development in the humanitarian crisis in northern Iraq. U.S. forces today surveyed the mountain where refugees are stranded without food and water. Now the Pentagon says there are fewer Yazidis on the mountain than they previously thought, and it is far less likely the U.S. will engage in a dangerous rescue mission on that mountain. ABC's Mohammed Leela is on the ground in northern Iraq.
Tonight, American troops off that mountain after assessing the dire situation, refugees trapped, militants below. The same militants facing off with Kurdish troops known as the Peshmerga.
All right, here we go.
Who we drove with on a rusty pickup truck through the sun-baked sand of northern Iraq, right into no man's land, the brutal ISIS fighters just a few minutes away.
This is the front line in the war against ISIS. On the other side of that trench is the village occupied by ISIS fighters. How often are they shooting at you?
We're shooting each other every night.
Here at this fly-infested outpost, Kurdish soldiers say American airstrikes have helped, slowing down the religious militants in their push to take over the country.
They have missiles, they have rockets, they have tanks.
We don't care. We fight by hand.
And at this rate, they might have to, as we saw firsthand.
Can I see this? This is...
Yeah.
So this is all you have?
Yeah.
No body armor?
No.
And again, that was ABC's Mohammed Leela reporting from northern Iraq.
In Ukraine, the death toll from fighting between government troops and pro-Russia separatists has nearly doubled in the past 2 weeks. According to the UN, more than 2,000 people have now been killed. In Kiev, hundreds of women protested the drafting of their husbands, brothers, and sons to fight the separatists. Since the conflict began, huge numbers of young men have been drafted and sent into battle with little or no combat experience. Meanwhile, a convoy of much-needed humanitarian aid appears to be headed to eastern Ukraine from Russia as part of an agreement worked out between the countries.
More unrest tonight in a St. Louis suburb where an unarmed teen was shot and killed by a police officer. Authorities in Ferguson, Missouri have used tear gas to try to disperse protesters after flaming projectiles were thrown from the crowd. The city has been the site of protests and looting since 18-year-old Michael Brown was killed during a confrontation with an officer on Saturday. The city's police chief says the officer who shot Brown was hurt in a scuffle before shooting him, but witnesses say Brown had his hands up when he was killed.
The father of the man run over and killed by race car driver Tony Stewart is speaking out. Driver Kevin Ward Jr. was walking on the track at a race in New York over the weekend, apparently to confront Stewart over bumping his car earlier when Stewart's car hit him. Ward's father told a Syracuse paper, quote, "Apparently Tony Stewart was the only one driving out there who didn't see him." No charges have been filed against Stewart, but an investigation continues. Addressing that, Ward Sr. said, quote, "The one person that knows what happened that night is possibly facing 10 years in prison. Is he going to say what he done?"
Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti and several other California mayors joined forces in the fight against runaway film production. The mayors traveled to Sacramento for meetings with state lawmakers and the governor. They are urging an expansion of California's $100 million program that offers tax breaks for film productions.
This isn't about wealthy producers or actors, not the studio executives that benefit from this. This is about the grips, the technicians, the set designers, and also those folks that live in their communities.
Garcetti says he believes the tax breaks will be expanded. It's just a matter of how much.
A real change coming to Pasadena. Take a look at the new Real Change orange parking meters being installed throughout the city. They're not just your regular old parking meters. These accept donations to help the homeless. They take coins or credit cards. The minimum donation the meter can take on your card is $2, all the way up to $100. The first meter was installed at Fuller Theological Seminary on North Oakland Avenue. A clean sweep today in downtown L.A. along San Julian and 6th Streets. Organizers say it's more than just street cleanup. It's also an effort to connect the homeless with services. Eyewitness News reporter John Gregory tells us organizers hope to get those people off the streets.
It's a gritty, dirty job. Cleanup crews do their best to separate the trash from the property. Many of the homeless here have their whole lives packed with them on these streets.
I got a service-connected pension now.
People like James don't mind. He actually welcomes this cleanup effort.
Oh, it gets filthy. Some of these guys, feces on the road and all kinds of junk. They need to clean it.
An increase in funding and better coordination with the county is allowing city crews to step up the cleaning efforts. If left unattended, the garbage and the human waste here can become a public health hazard.
This isn't just about cleaning the streets. It's also about reaching out to people who need help, especially people with mental health issues.
LA County also recently approved Laura's Law. It'll allow them to be more proactive in helping the mentally ill in the months to come.
We are very, very excited about it because this will give us one more tool to be able to get these individuals to get mental health treatment.
And many residents see the need.
It's like a walking clinic down here. You know, people fall through the gaps and they just, you know, they need help.
Keeping the streets clean helps, but getting people off the street is the real battle. And health experts feel one of the first steps is getting the homeless to want the help that's being offered.
This time it took them 7 weeks.
On Skid Row, John Gregory, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Busted on YouTube. Up next, how a beauty pageant contestant could be doing some jail time.
And meet a little hero, the 8-year-old's phone call that saved her babysitter's life.
Meteorologist Jonathan Novak here. Even though a few storms try to get going in the mountains, it was dry today. Will it stay that way? I'll tell you about that and a big warm-up in that 7-day forecast. Stick around.
An ironic twist of fate for a babysitter after the 8-year-old girl she was watching saved her life.
My mom's at work. My babysitter is here, passed out on the couch.
8-year-old Josie Zavala of Knoxville, Tennessee, reenacts her actions on that day. She called 911 after she noticed the babysitter, who was supposed to be taking care of her and her 6-year-old brother, didn't seem to be acting right and even dozed off twice. So Josie stepped into action using the babysitter's cell phone.
I was thinking, like, what if she would stop breathing and it was an emergency?
It's scary to know that she had to deal with that. And the thing is that she knew not to really freak out. She did what she was supposed to do, and
I will continue being a hero.
That's right.
An ambulance took their babysitter to the hospital where she's recovering from high blood pressure and low oxygen levels.
A beauty pageant contestant may get the book thrown at her for wearing high heels, and YouTube is playing a major role. We've all seen cases like this before. The story tonight from ABC's Nick Watts.
This is the video that landed a 22-year-old beauty queen in jail, because investigators claim that at the same time as sashaying across a stage in heels and a bikini,
she was illegally collecting workers' comp claims and benefits that totaled over $24,000 for faking an injury that she said occurred at work.
A fractured toe she claimed made it hard to walk, impossible to work her supermarket job.
She lied to her doctors, she lied to her employers, and those lies caught up with her.
As soon as investigators searched her social media footprint.
You cannot post pictures of you competing in beauty pageants while at the same time you're claiming that you were too injured to go to work.
Palmer is now out on bail. Her father denies the charges against her. Leroy Barnes, one of the dancers in this viral Kia commercial, was also collared recently for allegedly claiming $51,000 in disability the same year he was dancing in that hamster suit. He's pleading not guilty. Kathy Cashwell was sentenced to 3 years probation last year, spotted spinning that wheel on The Price is Right while claiming workers' comp for a sore shoulder.
This is serious. Workers' compensation fraud is a multi-billion-dollar drain on the economy.
Shauna Palmer, if convicted, might spend up to a year behind bars. Nick Watt, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Is our muggy weather finally moving out of Southern California? Meteorologist Jonathan Novak has his complete forecast up next.
Plus in sports, trouble for a Dodger starter. How long will Hyunjin Ryu be out?
And some mysterious street art pops up suddenly in LA. What's so unusual about this particular piece that has so many people talking and taking pictures? Manhattan Beach has lifted its temporary ban on fishing off the pier with some new safety rules. The ban was in response to a shark attack on a swimmer last month. The shark was hooked on a pier fisherman's line. Now the new regulations prohibit the use of steel, metal, or braided leader lines, also ban large hooks often used to catch sharks, and no more than 2 hooks on a single line. The city is putting up signage with the new regulations.
All right, well, if you go fishing anywhere, it's going to be a little cooler, right?
Yeah, actually, the next couple of days, temperatures will be at or below average, and you felt it today, a little less muggy, the moisture getting shunted off to the east. It's all about the winds, you know, all about the wind direction. Where is it coming from? Well, today, it changed, and as a result, those storms we had over the mountain areas, well, they were out of the picture. That live Megadoppler 7000 HD shows a very clear depiction of what I'm talking about. Very dry. No green on that screen unless you look all the way up to the east. Look at all the lightning and storms way off in New Mexico. Even Vegas getting a break today from the activity. So if you're looking for those muggy conditions to move away, well, you had it today. The live shot from LAX shows, yes, the marine layer is coming back tonight. We'll have that. But other than that, it's going to be a beautiful evening, a beautiful start to Thursday. 66 right now at the airport. Some light winds, you notice, out of the west, 10 miles an hour. So the winds have changed in the mid and upper levels here to the west-southwest, and that's bringing in drier air. It's keeping all that moisture off to the east, and as a result, it's a beautiful, drier evening. 82 Palmdale, 67 Wrightwood, 71 in Burbank, 74 Van Nuys. Very nice seasonable temperatures. Let's head off to the East Coast first. We were talking earlier about the big storms that were rolling through there. Well, that is now lifting out, but a very unseasonably strong storm up in the northeast, bringing cool air. Look at that. A lot of 50s and 60s showing up from the Midwest up to the northeast of New England. We head over to the West Coast now, and I'll show you the weather pattern for us is low pressure and high pressure off to the east. Sandwiched in between is that moisture, which has now been pushed off to the east because of those areas of low pressure off to the west. These will hang around for a few days before high pressure comes back into play. When is that? Sunday into Monday. So until then, temperatures at average, maybe a little bit below. Morning clouds, dry conditions. Beautiful stuff, not muggy like you've been seeing. So we'll keep those clouds in there tonight. Late, beaches 66, mountains 49. Nice day tomorrow. Highs right around 94 in Palmdale, Lancaster. Glendale 85, Pasadena about the same there, 87, and then 81 at the coast, 83 Anaheim, 82 in Los Angeles in that 7-day forecast. A little bit warmer on Friday and Saturday, and even still into Sunday. We notice here, you'll see the temperatures really warming up next Tuesday and Wednesday, but no rain for LA, no rain for the valleys, IE, but you will get really hot temperatures into the upper 90s by next Tuesday and Wednesday. The mountain areas is the biggest change. No rain. In fact, it looks really sunny. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, we might bring back the moisture a little bit, but not enough for a rain chance. In fact, staying dry in the mountains and the high desert. Triple digits for the high desert starting on Sunday. Looks hot, dry, and breezy. Dallas has more on ABC7 at 11.
Okay, Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sports now. With the postseason looming, the Angels can ill afford to give up ground in either the American League West or the wild card race. Unfortunately, the Halos are losing to the Phillies 2-1 in the 6th. On to Atlanta now. Give this pair an A for creativity. Tough night, though, for Hyunjin Ryu. In the 5th, Justin Upton collects his 70th RBI of the season when he knocked in Jason Hayward. Braves led 3-2. Ryu was looking for his 5th straight win tonight. Now he's wondering if he might miss his next start. He had to leave the game in the 6th inning after straining a muscle in his gluteus. He is listed right now as day-to-day. Still, the Dodgers could have rallied to stun the Braves, but with the bases loaded and 1 out, Matt Kemp grounds into a 4-6-3 double play. Got to drive Don Mattingly crazy. Braves hold on 3-2. On to the Bay Area, and the White Sox and Adam Dunn tried to do the Dodgers a favor. When Dunn's blast lands in McCovey Cove, Sox lead 1-0, but Chicago just came unglued in the 7th inning. Pablo Sandoval lifts one to center. Should be the 3rd out, but look at Dunn. He and Hunter Pence, oh, there goes the ball. Drops. That chases home the 6th and 7th run of the inning. The Giants win. They still trail Big Blue by 5 games. The new NBA schedule is out, and Santa is bringing a pair of good matchups for local basketball fans on Christmas Day. The Lakers are in Chicago to play the Bulls. That one is on ABC7, and the Clips host the Warriors on Christmas night. Meantime, Tiger Woods is officially out of next month's Ryder Cup. Tiger says ongoing health issues, specifically a bad back, are the reason he will skip the event for the first time in his career. Knee surgery chased him away in 2008. Back surgery and injuries have limited Tiger to just 7 events this season. Finally, this is how you break up the gauntlet that is NFL training camp. The Jets and their coaching staff accepted the Ice Bucket Challenge to raise awareness for ALS. This wasn't your typical ice bucket. The Cortlandville Fire Department brought its bucket truck to douse the Jets with cold water as the team accepted their challenge from Jimmy Fallon and the New England Patriots. The Jets have now challenged the New York Yankees, the Mets, and the Cleveland Browns. All of them have 24 hours to dump that ice-cold water on their heads.
It's an art mystery getting a lot of attention. Overnight, a 3-foot-high graffiti image appeared on a wall in the Melrose district. The big question, who put it there? Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes has the story.
An artful mystery popping up in Melrose. Is this piece of stencil art graffiti? Or is it a Banksy?
He's the most famous street artist. He's from London.
Yep, he's a secretive British artist known for leaving his work in public places. This painting is of a man holding an assault rifle in one hand and a teddy bear in the other. Or at least we think it's a teddy bear.
I can't tell what he's holding. Is he holding a chicken?
Some sort of animal? I don't know.
The painting was first noticed this morning. It's on a white wall right next to a Wells Fargo ATM in the 7200 block of Melrose Avenue. The area littered with so-called street art, or would you call it graffiti?
I don't think it's just graffiti. I think it's definitely enhanced the city.
If this turns out to be an actual Banksy, it wouldn't be LA's first. The mysterious street artist left his mark on a gas station wall back in 2008. And last year, that wall was auctioned off in Beverly Hills for $209,000.
Is that worth $100,000 to you?
Not to me, but it definitely could be to somebody. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
But the question now, is this really a Banksy? It's not listed on the British artist's website, and his representatives haven't returned our calls. But the owners of this wall may want to keep their eyes peeled on this little soldier.
And what you going to do, cut the wall out and take it home with you? Well, you know what? It's LA. Somebody might try to do something like that.
In Melrose, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And more news straight ahead here at 8 o'clock and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on KABC. A porn star savagely beaten, an MMA star on the run. Tonight, the famous fugitive hunter determined to catch him. Plus, brand new video just in from Ferguson, Missouri. More violent protest over the controversial police shooting of a teenager. We're going to have the latest on the confrontation between police and protesters. These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast. Eyewitness News at 11 on KABC.
The Coast Guard comes to the rescue once again. This time it's a trapped sea turtle. The Coast Guard released this video from the weekend incident off Atlantic City, New Jersey. A boater saw the marine reptile tangled in fishing lines. The Coast Guard crew responded to the call by pulling up alongside the turtle to remove the knotted mess. Once it was set free, the turtle swam away safely.
That's great. And fans of synchronized swimming, Riverside definitely the place to be this week for the Pan American Synchronized Swimming Championship. You've probably seen this in the Olympics and know how it works. It's a little like precision dancing, except of course you have to do it under the water and hold your breath for a long time. More than 200 swimmers from 13 countries are taking part. The competition runs through Saturday night at the Riverside Aquatics Complex.
Thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8 here on LA56. Law and Order SVU is next here on LA56.
And Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. and anytime on ABC7.com. Good night.